You around to see, or at least take witness to Digital Chaos versus Doo-Wop?
Yeah, I went to check the game, then I realized it was over very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah, if you went to the bathroom and took a number 2, you probably missed the whole series. It was over within a half hour. It was actually, it felt very much like Digital Chaos. We're like, we don't want to be in qualifiers, and we want to get out of this as fast as possible. But so they look great. Doo-Wop, they'll need to shake that one off. But here we are with Complexity versus Infamous. I mean, I would say Complexity, we look at them as like a tier 1.5 kind of a team. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, Complexity, NP, maybe Wanted, and you can maybe throw Onyx into that. I would say they're closer to tier 2 than 1.5.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But what about Infamous now? Where do we put a team like Infamous now? Some of these guys, Kotaro Hayama, they've had some experience. Where would you rate them as a team, though?
I'd say probably tier 2. I think they can maybe stretch to 1.5 if they still had King Tekka, arguably one of the best South American players, if not the best. But he's not on the team anymore. Valkyra is now on the team. I think King Tekka left. Don't think he was kicked, so maybe some internal issues there.
The king doesn't get kicked. That's not how it works. Yeah, you're king. You're not going to get kicked. He probably gracefully bowed out from the team and realized his talents could be used elsewhere. That's at least what I imagine. To be honest with you, I have a hard time keeping up with the South American shuffle as it is. So I just know, like, I've seen these guys. They've been around the block. They have plenty of gaming experience, and if you underestimate them, they'll run you over. So I think it's something Complexity have to kind of be concerned with. They seem to be knowing something more than I do, or at least they recognize that Infamous has at least a decent Meepo players. They ban that out, along with Vengeful Spirit, which is a bit peculiar for an early ban. Infamous keeping things a bit more traditional. You're going against Complexity after all here. CCNC, it's a Leshrac that's got to go. Shadow Demon's a no-brainer. And they managed to creep in a Darkseer and Rubik for themselves, so it's a nice little opening.
Yeah, I think they may have wanted the Slaughter as well. Infamous likes to go for this Darkseer Slaughter combo first too, quite a bit. Gives you some nice like AoE stun.
Yeah.
They like to do dual offlanes with it, but Complexity taking the Slaughter, and then responding with the Darkseer. Rubik just an all-around good hero. And now the Sniper Druid.
Yeah. And now there's Lone Druid, which is so crazy to just see the wildfire of like Lone Druid just spread, because at the start of Dota Pit, like everyone, it was feeling like, okay, Ember Spirit. Whoa, Ember Spirit's the big deal. We got to keep out for. Sometimes, Shadow Demon's creeping in, but then all of a sudden, like, I don't know if it was EG exactly, like, picked it up and started playing it first, but then Lone Druid became OP tier, like out of the blue. I remember the first draft he popped up, we were all just kind of like, okay, Lone Druid's a thing now. And then all of a sudden, he's like insta-ban, insta-pick. Do you know, because you probably have better insight than I do, is this something that teams may have been scrimming with? Did they know something for a while coming here? Or is this just something that just came out of nowhere?
Yeah, I think a lot of people had been toying with it. It was played in pubs for quite a bit. WWD and a couple other random NA pub players were spamming it either mid or safe lane. I'd seen Arteezy pick it a few times. Some other players. MSS was the first player I saw do the ranged Lone Druid stuff. But I guess people just realized that you just do so much damage, and you're also like really fast. It's just an upgraded sniper. The bear is really obnoxious, and he can also lane mid and safe lane. Beats almost every hero mid.
And then all of a sudden, these talents come out, and Lone Druid's like getting what most people would say is like the best deal of most. Like you get the range buff, the damage buff. It's pretty out of control. So people are still kind of, looking around now for already what seems to be the best way to kind of deal with this, to kind of counter with this. Some teams have been kind of trying a few different things. I remember hearing from one that, maybe you pull out a sniper yourself and you kind of go about that road. Have you seen anything yet that's been able to be pretty good to kind of keep this Lone Druid in check, or not as much of a problem, or is that still, going to take some time?
I think one of the best strategies that people have tried to use versus it is just like sort of a vision style draft, or trying to get the jump on the Lone Druid, picking heroes like the Slaughter, Maranas, stuff like that, Beastmaster, just in general, like trying to get vision and get on this Lone Druid as quick as possible, especially if the Lone Druid team doesn't have any disables or big AoE, like big AoE control. That's sort of what EG was doing at Dota Pit, was picking like Enigma every single time with the Lone Druid.
Yeah.
Like this big AoE control so that you can't get on top of them. And I think that's basically what you have to do. Pick some sort of a draft that has the capability to get on top of him, so he can't like just sit there and snipe you. He's forced to run away and like not constantly attacking.
Well, I'll be interested to see if Complexity consider that or not. If they were to consider Enigma, I know Z-Freak used to be like crazy good Enigma jungling, or I know he has that skill and the capability now, but we've been seeing more of that off-lane Enigma a bit, and obviously I think they're more of a, like Moo plays Slardar for sure, or do you think Complexity have that option to be able to pull out the 4-position Slardar? We saw it earlier, Biru was playing it in Doo-Wop, it just looks so tough to play, like he has such a hard time getting that Blink Dagger and being a factor sometimes. I don't know if you feel the same or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that may have been more of just a skill differential in the teams. DC much more experienced player. So I think Slaughter typically fits best into that 4 role, as he doesn't have the biggest of impacts in the offlane. You can get a Blink Dagger at a little bit better of a timing, but he's a hero that doesn't scale super well with items past the Blink Dagger. You can get Force Staff, you can get Yules, but it doesn't actually increase his impact all that much. He has issues pushing out lanes.
Yeah.
And it sort of forces you to get a greedier 4 whenever you pick the Slaughter off lane, which sort of has the same effect, but Slaughter's a hero that can just run around with a few levels, which is also suited to a 4 role typically.
Yeah, you definitely make a good argument on that. It was just, it looks so, and maybe that's just where it became more apparent that it might have been a skill difference. It just looked like for Porbiru in that particular case, like he's like sprinting his way in there, but he's like, I can't even seem to get a hold of anybody. They're just dancing with me almost, and next thing you know, they turn it on to him, and he's still so like youthful or at least low leveled that he felt like he was made of paper. So we'll see what Complexity end up, getting out of their Slardar. Since then, though, we get Earth Spirit from Infamous. We didn't get to see any of it yet today, but obviously they have the Dark Seer. If you have an Earth Spirit player, that seems like a match made in heaven. But the response already from Complexity, when I was feeding Earth Spirit at least, I hate going against Silencer. That's like the worst shit ever. Especially if you're any sort of spirit, I imagine. Silencer's just a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I'm curious if they'll run it mid or if they'll... Okay, well, I guess it kind of answers that question. Yeah. So it looks like it will be most likely a support Silencer. Ember. Moo typically plays the Ember. Cancel can play it, but it's almost always a safe lane Ember Spirit, and they'll run the mid Lone Druid. Is what I've seen from Complexity so far. So I would think it would be that way this game, but what sort of makes me doubt that is that the Ember the Lone Druid can potentially die to some Earth Spirit roll-ins early levels before he has, a point in the Savage Roar, or even once he has Savage Roar, can get silenced and kicked and just sort of chain disabled. So I wonder if they'll put the Ember Spirit mid to sort of prevent the Earth Spirit ganks on that lane and force him to go to this safe lane against the Lone Druid. So I think that this Earth Spirit is just going to try and pressure the Lone Druid, whichever lane he's in, whether it be safe or mid.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely has a big threat there. Silencer early on could definitely be very annoying, but if Slar is not around, they're not going to have too many options to kind of stop the early aggression there. But we'll see as things progress. Final bans to come out. Ban out on the Viper. Not looking to go against a dirty, very, very high-powered mid laner who can usually take advantage of the lane. And I don't know, does that say something to Complexity, like we want to make sure our mid laner has a good time, we don't want him to be just like easily overpowered? And I don't know if that reveals any further if it is going to be the Ember or Lone Druid mid.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also just sort of Complexity. It's a confidence ban, right? Like you think, okay, we cannot play these guys. We think we have the skill in them, the coordination, so we're going to ban out a hero that's going to crush us in our lanes, not let them get this super early lead and just kind of snowball over us before we have a chance to run our game plan. So banning out the Viper, a hero that crushes Ember Spirit beyond belief and does pretty well versus the Lone Druid as well, so would make their lanes a little fishy.
I like what you did there with the fishy. Very well played. Final fix to be coming out here now from Complexity's side. At this point, it almost feels like it could be, I don't know, anything, man. I mean, it's melons at the end of the day, man. This guy could be a bit crafty with his drafts. Maybe he pulls out something funky here. But, in a matchup against Infamous, I'm sure you want to take the points when you can get them, especially, only one team is going to be able to make it to the LAN out of the American region. And you have Cole, you have MP and DC. It's pretty stacked. And then up-and-coming teams like Onyx as well, like you just never know. So it's going to be a bit of a ruthless American qualifier, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's this one and then the upcoming DAC. They're all really, really stacked. With DC with DC not getting invited to the getting directly invited to DC. So it's going to be a tough road for some of these tier 1.5 teams. And, like the Freedoms and stuff who, last year would have had a pretty decent shot at making some of these lands. But this year, with a lot of the stronger teams being in the qualifiers that have directly invited, it's going to be a rough ride.
Well, look at this. You were specifically talking about having that AoE control. I mean, you can't really ask for anything better than having an Underlord all of a sudden show up at the last pick of the draft, somehow managed to sneak his way through everything. He almost dark rifted from the start of the draft to the end there, But
Hey.
hey there, I'll settle down. Don't worry. Okay, I don't want to get out of hand again, so my bad. But whether the case may be, I mean, so it's looking like a support staff between Slardar and Silencer here. And then, you know, either the Ember or the Lone Druid being mid. But now you have an Underlord to deal with if you're Infamous. With the final back, it's going to be a Shadow Fiend. Okay, then. So what do you think here?
I think Infamous definitely has to get a good start in the early lanes. Their team fight is very, very strong. But this Earth Spirit, if he falls behind, if the Slaughter gets a reasonably timed blink, if Complexity's lanes go well, then they'll have this, blink crush with the Silencer ult, and Underlord having a mech getting up to that pipe. I think Infamous's damage will run pretty low in a hurry if they don't get off to an early start. So I think it'd favor Complexity a little bit in this game.
Yeah.
But it all sort of depends on how the lanes go. The Shadow Fiend does have a very nice time versus the Ember Spirit, so they may try and help him out mid if he does go there.
I definitely can see what you mean. It feels like Infamous's lineup could be a bit more volatile. It's a bit more fragile in the laning phase, where it's a lot more, how do I put this? I guess in the words of like DMX, kind of ride or die, if you will. Like they need to make it work. They need to connect their Earth Spirit ganks. They need to, take advantage if the Shadow Fiend is going to have a better timing, like you were just saying. Utilize that. Make sure it shows, really. And otherwise, you could end up just, handing things over to the advantage that the Cole draft has kind of thrown together for themselves. But whatever the case may be, should be a doozy of a matchup. Looking forward to it here. We'll get underway now. It's Infamous going to be representing your Radiant side. Complexity coming in on the Dire. I believe, I'm trying to bring up at the same moment here our current standings. Complexity have already played 2 matchups where they have won 2-0 and 1-1. So they're just kind of hanging there at the bottom with about 4 points to their name, while Infamous 6 points, as they've already taken, it says here 2 wins. I don't know if this is updated or not, but they did 2-0 Team Freedom while dropping a 2-game series to Doo-Wop. So both these teams really need to get a couple of wins.
Yeah, I think Monkey's getting a good start. Not necessarily a good start, but at least getting a lot of farm this game is pretty crucial to them. Getting like the mech, the pipe online, it'll just make Complexity like so tanky this game. Infamous's damage is a lot of magic damage, a lot of AoE, not too much single target. So if he can get to the point where he has the mech, has the pipe, and they're all just sort of tanked up on Complexity, they may have some serious damage issues come the mid game, the later stages of the mid game, especially with more slippery cores like the Ember and Lone Druid. I kind of worry for their damage come some core items onto Complexity's cores.
So during the draft, you're saying that it's likely that Infamous, or in particular Stinger here on the Earth Spirit, might put more of his attention towards the Lone Druid. But when you're mentioning that, if Moo's able to, or not Moo, sorry, if Monkeys is able to get to a point where he can be very, very taking out for himself before his team, do you still think that it's in Infamous's best interest to put pressure on the Lone Druid, or do you think there's another lane they might need to kind of keep in touch?
Yeah, with them committing all 3 heroes to this top lane, I think they had spotted that Z-Freak was up here as well. Maybe not, he's in the trees, may set up for a kill here, but I think Stinger is going to move to these other lanes. He realizes, okay, they're committing multiple heroes up here, the Silencer's up here as well, so not really anything I can make happen.
Everyone comes out from the woodwork now, and not looking so good for Valkyria here. He runs up north to try to avoid the trouble. He has an ion shell, though, and no surge, so he just throws one on his chest and says, I'll hope for the best. But Z-Freak's going to be there with the crush, and a few right clicks later, he should be going down. It's going to be Moo, of all people, who picks up that first blood. Back and below in the bottom lane, though, look who also gets a 3-on-1 jump. It is going to be Infamous making their go for Monkeys, but this guy is much bigger, much better, and he will be able to eat those fairy fires and not be taken down. Oh, my goodness. Up to the last hit there, he lives, pops the salve, and that is going to be the difference. My goodness.
Yeah, that Atrophy Aura level 1, making the difference there, keeping him alive. Does have to pop his salve, but not the biggest deal, as he does still have his shrine up, so he's doing fine as the wave now up next to his tower, and looks like Infamous is going to go for the pull. So we're going to reset it, but Monkey's pretty happy with that, going to get a full wave of XP and get up to his level 2, so going to be able to rely on the jungle after this wave here.
Yeah, another gank attempt like that's going to be even more difficult than it was the first time, now that this XP is going to be coming through, and he'll at least push to level 2. Though they did a nice job pulling that lane back.
Mid.
But mid lane, very deep dive, and it's going to be Cancel. Committing in and getting the job done, but a good rotation comes over from Stinger, connects with the rolling boulder, but now gets blocked in from the creep, and Cancel says, see you later. Makes it back and away. He did turn back. Got to be careful. Oh, swing and a miss on the boulder smash. Very unfortunate. And I'll have to walk away from that one. Cole getting just that better upper hand, but Doesn't stop there. Z-Freak, deep commitment, bullying out the darks here from the lane. Complexity just full aggression here already.
Yeah, Katara getting a little bit greedy, trying to stay in the lane a little too long, and Cancel just barely getting level 3 from a melee creep, and then immediately popping the shield going onto him. May go down again here.
Mid lane, mid lane. Oh, he'll be able to take down the courier, but he does end up getting dropped. Z-Freak had rotated all the way over to catch that Shadow Fiend from behind. Good crush connection, but the Complexity courier comes a bit too close, and he's able to at least get one little giggle right before he falls.
Yeah, it's pretty disastrous for the Shadow Fiend. Only level 2. He's going to miss this entire wave, and the Earth Spirit not even there to pick it up as he is walking back to base at the time. So a whole wave of XP going to go to waste, and even maybe a couple creeps from this next wave. And now Cancel going to be almost level 5, while the Shadow Fiend only level 2, and it's kind of unrecoverable at this point. I still have the boots coming in with whenever the courier spawns on the Ember, SF not even close to boots.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to be extremely careful he doesn't go down again.
Look at Z-Freak, just happy to be inside enemy territory here. Stinger will rotate over, actually gets the connection right on the tip, it looked like there, of the rolling boulder. Blocks him in the front, will force out the crush. And now Z-Freak is just trying to figure out where the hell he can maybe find a pocket of TP out from. He goes for it there, boulder smash, he gets it. That's going to be canceling the TP with the Ion Shell. Z-Freak will just slowly slither away to his downfall. Stinger will take that one, and they'll be able to finally get themselves on the board.
Yeah, at the very least, making some space, continuing to steal the Darkseer's XP. It's only level 3 at this point compared to the 4 now of Monkeys, and not having the greatest of times. You really want this Darkseer to get online to be able to match the mech timing of this Underlord. With these offlaners that we see a lot of times nowadays, they both go for mech, and so it's sort of a race to see who can get this mech timing first. A lot of games find sort of which team has the better team fight early on.
We have a bit of a tussle here mid lane, good rolling boulder, and they do the kickback a la Jarek style. I like that. Cancel, though, still going to be able to live and walk away. Just not enough damage. You can see the difference in levels, and look at this. Melon shows up and gets a return kill, taking down that Earth Spirit. Cole just seemed to always getting that one up right at the end of these little trades here, and just kind of get slightly walking away the better one. And you know, we were saying that Infamous, it's more precious to him to get a success in this laning stage, and it's not. Bottom lane doesn't stop there. Z-Freak moves in, gets the crush onto the Rubik, but will walk away.
Yeah, the level 5 on the Flame Shield, making the difference there. Would have died if he didn't have that, as the final race coming out took him down to about 50 HP. So those earlier kills making a pretty big difference, and now Cancel with the raindrops. So the raindrop proccing before the before it does the damage to the shield. So is going to be able to keep his shield up for an extremely long time. Very hard to take down for the Shadow Fiend now that he has that. And with the DD in level 6 after this wave, you may be able to threaten to kill another kill on the Shadow Fiend.
Now we do have Stinger waiting back and behind. He's hoping for an opening himself, with Cancel just kind of hanging in the lane with half of his life. It seems very tantalizing. Triple Remnant forward, but that's when the Earth Spirit comes out and shows himself. He's able to get the boulder smash, but Cancel wants this kill. Moves up to the high ground. He's making chase. Oh, man. Poor Shadow Fiend here looking for somewhere to hide. But there's Z-Freak. How you doing? Crushes it, takes it down. Castle turns back with a nice little set of chains, and the Complexity are going to be able to make it away without losing anyone.
Yeah, your SF sitting 4th on net worth, really not where you want to be on SF this game. If he's not ahead, he can get easily...
Ooh, Z-Freak moves in after getting lifted, but a good boulder smash will stop it, but Z-Freak makes it away, just barely alive.
Yeah, can get easily run at this game by the Ember, by the Slaughter. If he gets a quick Blink Dagger, which it looks like he is on track for. Already has the Tranquil Boots up and the Windlace.
This game is just ridiculous, man. It's non-stop. 7 kills at 6 minutes in, and Benjaz is barely able to avoid a bit of hostility there in the bottom lane, but it's not going to stop yet. I was going to say mid lane they might consider rolling in, but it looks like that is not going to be the case. But, man, serious. Okay, bottom lane, that's where they're going to roll in. It's on the Monkeys. They get the kick back, but that means he's not going to get hit by the stomp. Bit unfortunate there. Should have just, in that case, he may just go for the basic boulder smash. So Monkeys is going to walk away, no problem for that one. And here comes Cancel now. Able to get the chains off. Rubik has no more mana to work with, so he's going to get chased down. While on the bottom half of your screen, you're going to see the jump onto your Earth Spirit. Easily going to be able to block the boulder roll out. He gets dropped. And on the other side of things, Cancel's going to get the pickup onto the J-Hope. Rubik not able to deny himself. This is just Complexity running away now with the early game. Even mid lane, look at the work Swindles is doing onto the Shadow Fiend, and they're trying to clean him up. They don't catch him from behind. He's just scared for his life now, trying to hide. And they're gonna hunt him down. They're pulling out the Bloodhounds. Oh, he remnants away. and that will be the end of it. When does it stop, Quinn?
Yeah, I don't know. All the meanwhile move, with his team creating all that early space, does go for the Midas on the Bear. So a little bit uncommon. Typically, you'll see just the Trez into the Dragonlance, or sometimes the Helm of the Dominator if you want to go for the more push-centric lineup of move. Going greedy, realizing his team is making all this space for him, and he has the luxury to go for a more greedy build and get super farmed this game.
Really just in full autopilot in this top lane, feeling confident his team is kind of doing most of the legwork for him, or at least causing enough of an impression that it's totally handicapped Infamous at this point, where they're just kind of bleeding out a little bit here. So they're hoping to patch things up with some good farming, but Complexity are not looking to let up the tempo one bit. Valkyria trying to even show back up to his lane. He's going to need some assistance. Roll in here from Stinger is only going to lead to the crush. The Z-Freak will be able to back out, but Complexity are nearby looking to finish out this tier 1. They're not rotating over yet. Savage Roar will keep the Centaur off, and you know, he will not pop the ultimate or make any sort of engagement, it looks like. So Complexity are going to just be fine.
Yep. Force a couple of rotations now. It gives Monkey plenty of space on the bottom. Looks like he's going to be going for the HOD. Seen him do this a couple of times, so lets you get a Purge creep and get Ice Ogre creep, a couple other nice creeps that bolster your early game a little bit, but Stinger goes down up by this top lane.
Yeah, we catch the action there as just simply Cancel and Z-Freak, two Bash brothers, going at it again here. This is just like, where are you going to go, kid? Now, they are rotating in some reinforcements here. If Complexity overextended a bit, we'll see if they can do something about it. There's a stun connection onto Cancel. He's looking to remnant himself out. Is able to make it away. There's the crush on the Centaur, but here comes the mighty Shadow Friend, and he raises his way right through Z-Freak. Centaur's ult getting in on the action. Chase towards Swindles. And on the other end, though, it's going to be Moo, just crunching down that Earth Spirit, able to break him apart. Here comes Benjaz. Trying to chase down Melons, but now they're going to turn it right back on him. Can we get a root? Well, we can get a lift here. The Rubik's able to kind of fend off the trouble. Cancels back, though. Remnant's right on in, gets beautiful chains. The wall's going to get committed, but it's too late for Rubik. He's going to be going down. And then the end of the Centaur here. It's still Complexity coming up way on top. Monkey's even getting involved in the action. All of Complexity in attendance here. And they will grind their way through and take the tower now. Goodness.
Yeah, I was wondering if Moo was going to do this because he did go for the Midas, and it looks like he is. A little bit of a blast from the past. Going to be going for the Radiance on the Lone Druid this game. Not for that stereotypical build we've been seeing these past couple of weeks. Infamous is really, really bad at killing that bear. No slaughter, not that much physical damage. Really only the Shadow Fiend that's decent versus Lone Druid bear. The Radiance going to buff up their 5-man team fight a little even more, so a whole lot of AoE damage between the Underlord, the Silencer Q, and this Radiance burn in a little bit. So interesting to see how this plays out, as we haven't really seen this build in quite some time.
Yeah, I don't think Moo has got the memo. It's 2017 and 7.0. This Lone Druid build is not cool anymore, and only for the Bulldogs now. So whatever the case may be, it could just be he's feeling pretty confident. I mean, I would too. 12-2 and pretty much crushing every lane. He had the opportunity to be able to play this greedy hand and going for the Midas. Why not kind of go down that road, I guess, whether it be nostalgic or not, or strategy. I don't see too much trouble coming his way from Infamous's side with this Radiance coming on soon. So we'll have to see if where do we go from here if we're Infamous now. They haven't even been able to really use too many of their level 6s that have come online to try to make some plays happen. It's been just very chaotic all the way up to this point.
Yeah, I think they're maybe waiting for the Starkster mech. They're going to look for some sort of a team fight. They do have the Dragonlance now up on SF, so building up to sort of that mid-game fighting stage. But yeah, they are going to try and make a move with the Earth Spirit, so not quite level 6 though, so not the most damage in the world, but going to try and get a little bit active and maybe get a kill or two and try and speed up the StarSeries mech so they can look for
I wonder if they could have got a tome or not, but they're going to make the move in regardless. Z-Freak seems to be in serious trouble, but Swindle Melons tries to help his bro out by committing out the silence. There goes the Dark Rift. Come with me, my friend. Looking to send him right back all the way to the base, back towards the shrine. Very nice escape. I mean, there's Infamous's most attempted organized gank this game, and it shut down just like that. One R press coming out there from Swindle.
Yeah, so they look down to slow down the slaughters, blink a little bit, but getting out, and now using the smoke up, Darkseer at least going to be able to have this top lane for a little bit of time and probably finish up his mech, but it's kind of hard for them to fight as at least the global is down, so they're going to have that advantage in the next couple of fights, but Complexity not waiting for them to finish up that mech, get to the timing where they want to have, where they're pretty strong in these team fights and going to get aggressive, move down to this bottom lane and try and take down Benjaz.
Well, let's see what they can do here. Benjaz is trying to stay close to the tower as much as possible, but he may be reading the situation right. He is trying to get the whole way back, and he just runs into Cancel. Hi, how you doing there? Flops down the chains. He pops out the pipe, and he's just like, I might need some help, guys. They're dishing out everything to keep me locked in place. There's going to be the root. Lift comes out from Rubik, but he's still locked in that spot. Now here comes the Earth Spirit rolling on in. He's going to be able to connect with both the stun and the silence. Looking to lock his most onto Cancel here, but just like that, he remnants backing away. He can continue that magnetize, but it's not going to be doing a whole lot. Complexity, again, able to just shrug off any aggression coming out from Infamous. They are going to be able to get this mid lane, possibly. Shadow Fiend has been, like, totally dedicated to farming and objective gaming here in the past few moments, but as he's able to get this tier 1, I think Melons might be able to kind of do some damage. No, he's going to be fine, but he's trying, man. He's trying to get himself back in the game. Okay, sorry, Quinn. Now they'll get him. Oh, Remnant! Oh, okay, they both get dropped. Cute little play right there. Cancel will be able to be unstoppable, but he does lose his own life.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend boosting him up a massive amount of net worth. 800 gold from that one. Now has the Ogre Club and the Mithril Hammer. So after a really bad start, has 113 CS and Cancel. Considering the early kills he got, not actually that rich, only 55 CS with a couple rotations down to bottom and then up to top a little bit later. Hasn't actually been farming that much, even after a really good start. So maybe a little bit too all over the map, because he only is only 5,500 net worth compared to the SF's 8K, even after his early kills.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going, a bit more lax and trying to just get his hands dirty by having a lot of fun. Because, maybe you feel like, I got Moo over here. He's got a Midas now. He's farming up. He's like our insurance policy, right? So I don't know if he's getting a bit too excited. But whether the case may be, I'm sure Cancel now working through the jungle at least. He's going to get back onto that grind and make up for the little bit of lack of net worth he was probably sporting there. Because, as you mentioned, Shadow Fiend is quite a few grand ahead of him at this moment. But we'll see if he can get himself to a point, because we still have yet to see Infamous really kind of get the better end of any of these trades.
Yeah, haven't had the greatest of times yet. They aren't that far behind though, considering how the game may have looked earlier. Moo is pretty rich, still above the SF, top of the net worth, and about to finish the Radiance, about 300 gold away. I think their power spike is going to start then, with the mech on Monkeys not too far away as well, as he chips down at this bottom tier 2. But Infamous, considering the start they had, not in the absolute worst of positions, with the Hood and the Vanguard up in the center, so quite tanky. Gives them a frontliner to maybe let this SF actually get some right clicks in and stay tanky with the BKB. He almost has finished.
Getting close, and that could hopefully be a serious spike here for Infamous to turn things around. Bottom lane, as mentioned, Monkeys is still persistent, man. He's not looking to walk away until this tier 2 is down in front of him. Only Benjaz here to defend. Now it seems the team is going to start rotating over now. This is Complexity. Smoked, wrapping, boom, connecting. That's going to be the crush onto Benjaz. How super can he be to get away from this one? Pops out the ult, but the chains lock him down. And then a route to follow it up. Can they get the finish, though? The Taking Man lives on, but there's going to be the jump-in Remnant from outer space, and it's going to get the finish there from Cancel, and then the takedown is going to be there from Darkseer. No Darkseer wall to worry about now, and even a takedown of the Earth Spirit. Unfortunately, it feels a little one-by-one here from Infamous. Complexity continued to stand tall, and now will start ascending into the high ground. Oh, they will get a nab. Nicely there. Onto Z-Freak. There goes the Requiem. He's looking to make chase. Can he get the grab for Cancel? Couple of waves, and they'll get the takedown. Very nicely done of Monkeys. Bear could be next. Suddenly, Shadow Fiend back from the past here. Looking to make up for the laning phase. Get some shots. Swindles does not like how that feels and has to get the hell back. This Shadow Fiend alone, able to kind of hold the wave here and the momentum in the bottom lane push. Here's Benjaz, though. They might get the move for Cancel, but he does have some remnants and will be able to make it out. How about that hold, huh? That's probably the first best fight Infamous has had this game.
Yeah, the SF up to top net worth now did use his 10-second BKB, but at the very least they get the kill on Monkeys. Brought down Z-Freak as well, but those kills by Complexity were sort of enabled by the nice moves they made on Complexity. They, the Slaughter was getting really active early on, but it came a point where they were like, all right, you need to get your Blink Dagger, and the rest of the team smoked down to bottom, whereas the Slaughter head up to top and farmed his Blink up there. So realizing that, hey, he's our biggest initiation tool, so we're going to leave him up, give him some space up in this top lane, and let the rest of the heroes who, have gotten better early starts, let them go make some space for him in return for the space he made for them early. So spreading out the farm a little bit, and this Blink Dagger getting them some kills, even though Infamous sort of turning around there in the end, like you said.
And you would like, typically to see Infamous be able to move forward now and possibly take some fights. They still have had a little bit of a window to work outside of that global, but now it's going to probably be up by the next time something is to kind of break out here. So I'm curious to see what the answer is going to be from Infamous. I mean, even Earth Spirit, for example, I mean, don't expect to get off the biggest magnetized when something like that's going to get dropped. And without having that Yules or Lotus or any sort of answer, it's going to be a bit intriguing. But we already mentioned the Shadow Fiend having that BKB will help for now. It's just, you know, do you think Infamous can win this game if they're just going to just play farm versus farm?
I think there comes a point where Complexity has an extremely strong timing, and it's going to be a little bit scary. They're going to try and just walk down these lanes with the Lone Druid, as their time may be now. They have the Radiance. Lone Druid, this is sort of his strongest point if you do go for that Radiance build. Doesn't get too much stronger, so they're going to smoke up and look for a fight.
Oh, man, of all people to run into, the Shadow Fiend just walks right up into Team Complexity. He's able to get off the Death Requiem. It does a little bit of work, but not nearly enough to make up for that. And the rest of Infamous have to get the hell back. There's not even a buyback available on the Shadow Fiend either. Down towards mid lane, trying to fend off the trouble. There goes the global. They're looking to move in and really strike him hard, and they're going to be able to get the takedown. That's going to be the drop of not one, but two, as both support staff going to get taken apart. And now it's on for the tier 2. Couldn't ask for a better opener from Complexity, but props to them. Wonderful smoke movement leads to an easy takedown of the Shadow Fiend, and only worse from there. Now a crush onto the Centaur as they make their approach. Nice vacuum wall, but without the rest of the team being there, it's really only that.
Yeah, they just have so much AoE damage. The support's just getting run down and just massacred. The Shadow Fiend getting caught a little bit out of position. A nice smoke from Complexity as they get the tier 2 down. And looks like they're going to try and migrate up to this top tier 2. But all of Infamous is up. They have the Slaughter Blink, and Shadow Fiend, if he's not careful, can go down here again and maybe lose reps off of it.
Oh, he's looking to move into the labyrinth of the trees to try to make it away from some trouble. It looks like Complexity will not pursue. That's just a bit too deep. Without the creep wave being around, does not feel too comfortable, so they'll fend off for now. But as you mentioned, that might have been, as I'm questioning, okay, are we playing a farm versus farm kind of a game? Sure enough, Complexity at that moment make the move point, and they're like, nope, this is our time. We'll take a fight, and now we'll just, you know, demo down each of these lanes and these towers, and we'll just know we could take the better team fights and the better exchanges. So what are Infamous going to do about it? So we'll see what Infamous can do about it.
Yeah, going back to it, they really just have, like, no way to really start these fights on Infamous. They're just sort of waiting for Complexity to make a move and then try and counter it out. Get a nice vacuum wall with maybe a Centaur, somehow getting in the middle of there to get a stomp off, but has gone for the Vanguard and the Pipe, so no Blink Dagger, and it will be quite a while until he does get one if he chooses to go for it. So they really just don't have a great way to start these fights, with the Earth Spirit really being their only way and him going Veil, so not going to have a Blink Dagger on him anytime soon. And so Complexity just sort of controlling the tempo of this game as they're clearing up an Ancient stack here, just ferrying out a smoke for Swindle, so going to try, and it looks like they may smoke and try and make another play as they do feel very strong. And yep, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Man, and the only case I could see this working out well for Infamous is if Complexity just do something to, like, you know, F it all up. They overstep themselves, they get too overexcited and dive themselves, throw themselves into the base. I mean, even like some sort of like clutch catch from Infamous, they're not a team that seems at the moment to try to do any sort of smoke wraparound or flank play or surprise attack. They're actually making a move and trying to be sneaky here and going for the Roche behind the back of Complexity. And it doesn't seem like Complexity have the idea at the moment, but they could soon. Some of them are starting to head up. In fact, a Centaur in particular is, hey, what's happening over here? Oh, Roche is happening. They crush him down. Centaur takes out his little brother and is like, we got to get this fast. Are they going to be able to make it in time? Z-Freak's close. He can blink it and take it. They might have the vision. This could be bad. There's the crush. Cancel shows up, burns him down. That's when the Centaur's going to pop out the ulti. Can they still get the finish? They can. They will still be able to take it down, and they will take the Aegis. I mean, there's still a push happening. Did they not take it yet? He gets crushed down, and he denied it. Are you serious? Didn't even pick it up. Couldn't figure out how to throw something in the backpack or something. And now he's in trouble. Very awkward stuff. Here comes a Dark Rift, here comes Complexity, and they're going to make Infamous pay for it. That is the Shadow Fiend going out without a buyback. The jump here from Valkyria, he's going to get crushed and connected from Z-Freak. His life ends now, and the rest of Infamous are just trying to pick up the pieces from what was done in the mid lane. Okay.
Yeah, I think Kataro maybe sensing that they're in dire straits and getting a little bit tilted. I think he was trying to bait the Slaughter and wait for him to blink and then maybe set up a kill that way, but didn't put the bottle into his stash. I don't know if he denied it on purpose or just happened to be A-clicking and misclicked. It may have been a tilt play. We'll never know, really. Okay, yeah, he dropped his quarterstaff on the ground or something. Z-Freak has it in his image. I don't know what's going on. He bought another quarterstaff, and Z-Freak has the one he had before.
Yeah.
So, some shenanigans happening.
Yeah, I don't know. That's definitely something I wouldn't mind checking out, probably post-game for sure, whether it be a juggling between items and backpack or figuring out what's happening. I mean, those last few moments of him doing the rush was all just ridiculous. So you can't really blame him for being frantic in that moment. It looked like Cancel was going to be able to go in there and just lock him down and take it for himself, but it just, when shit hits the fan like that, you know, sometimes you misclick a bit. So here's Complexity, though, looking to kind of seal the deal. And we'll have to see if Infamous are going to be able to compose themselves and just hold for the high ground. Oh, my goodness. Swing and a miss onto that crush, but this Shadow Fiend is getting a little too close to the fire right now. His team might have to roll it and back up, and they were thinking about that. They will not commit just yet. Shadow Fiend's going to be able to make it back and away, but Centaur might not be so lucky. There goes the vacuum, but the wall's not going to be there as Z-Freak cancels it with a nice crush, and then the Silencer ulti comes out, and they totally deny Infamous from being able to get anything off. Jumping from Cancel. He'll slash them all apart. Infamous will have no say in the matter. And here comes the last hurrah from your Shadow Fiend. He pops his BKB. He looks to go for the Requiem. Is able to bring down the Baron. Shoves it right back into Cole. Can a one-man do it alone, though? I don't know. Raises onto Monkeys, but eventually gets locked and taken apart. Complexity will get the better trade on this one. It costs him a buyback, but that's going to be the game.
Yeah, a little bit of an unorthodox build from the Lone Druid. Going for the Radiance, like we said, a blast from the past, but really working out. You know, we favored Complexity, just dropped a little bit going into the game. And Infamous, you know, we said they needed to do well in the early lanes, but that not really being the case. The Shadow Fiend going down a couple of times very early on, being pretty underleveled, and even though he had some decent net worth, just not really a way to start these fights. Not tanky enough, not finding those team fights around the crucial timing with the mech that they needed to do.
Yeah.
Because they were a little bit behind in Complexity, just getting the Radiance, getting a couple nice smoke kills, and just sort of finishing the game very quickly.
Yeah, it felt pretty good there. Complexity were able to kind of totally take advantage of the advantage they had built for themselves in the early laning stage and just kind of rolled through. I mean, you almost play-by-play everything that Complexity were looking to do, like, to the T there. The second it felt like, okay, this is going to be the moment where they want to push down the lanes, they were just right in tune with it. So that becomes a bit scary if Complexity are able to just kind of do as they please, and if they want to just, you know, go from point A to B, and then I want to follow through from B to C, and it's going to just go like this, and they make it look that easy. That's scary for Infamous. So I'm curious to see what Infamous are going to do. I hope this isn't a team that can tilt either, because that Roche moment was very awkward. Hopefully they'll be able to shrug it off there, Quinn, and we'll have a very entertaining game number 2. But Complexity takes game 1. They'll take the 1 point. We'll come back after a short break with more Dota action, guys. We'll see you soon.
E-Gaming Bets, online betting for every